Hello, my name is Michael Carbonaro, and for my origin story this year for the Epic Underground, I will be performing an origin story about my first love. It's entitled Figure Skating. And my inspiration for this is I feel like this is the perfect time to share my origin story about my first love and my first passion, figure skating. I hope you enjoy. I was a 4-year-old nonverbal child at the time. I was sitting in my living room watching figure skating on TV. And I was looking up at the TV, and in that moment, I was mesmerized by the beauty, the style, grace, power, and the joy and the freedom. And of course, the glitz and glamour of figure skating, the sport of figure skating. As I was watching skating on TV, watching the skaters in their sparkly costumes, freely expressing themselves through jumps, spins, and choreography, I turned to my mom and I said my very first sentence ever. I want to do that. My mom just stopped in her tracks. I didn't know what to do or say. Finally, she said, "What?" I looked right into her eyes and I said, "Skating." My mom started to cry, tears of happiness. And she talked to our family friend at the time about a coach who teaches ice skating for those on the autism spectrum. We got to the ice skating rink and we met the instructor, and they tried to put the hockey skates on me because I was a boy. Then, since I started talking, only said a few words at the time. So as an adult, I'm mortified to share this with y'all. I did have a meltdown. The moment they put the figure skates on me, whoosh, I took off like lightning. And I remember in that moment, I felt like I was naturally breathing. And for the first time in my life, I felt so alive. And from that moment on, the rest, as they say, was history. Whew. Fast forward to a year later, with a new coach at 5 years old. I was in a lesson with him, and I fell, and I reached out to him, hoping he would help. I reached out to him, out to my coach's hand, tell me to pick myself back up. But he said, "Nope. This is the first thing you learn in skating on your own," which I learned to apply into the real world to this day. I thought to myself, at first, all of my inspirations in skating had gone through this many times and gotten that same pep talk from their first coach that taught them. Who are they, you may ask? I'm glad you asked. They're all the figure skaters from the late 80s and 90s and 2000s, all the way to today's skaters. From Brian Boitano, Scott Hamilton, Michelle Kwan, Tara Lipinski, Johnny Weir, and Evan Lysichek, to skaters like Adam Rippon, Nathan Chen, and today's megastar Ilya Malinin. I'm sure they've gotten the same talk their first coaches who taught them the basics of figure skating. You know how many times I see a figure skater in pro figure skating program and they fall in competition and even sometimes in practice sessions many, many times. And I'm sure they've gotten bumps, bruises, welts, and injuries all over their bodies. And I am for sure they would consider them trophies of hard work and dedication. You know how many times I've fallen when I was on the ice? Too many times I've lost count. And too many times I had injuries, bumps, bruises, and welts all over my body. Why do I say this? I can recall one time during my skating career, I was at a doctor's appointment after an early morning session. And she saw there were so many bumps, bruises, and welts all over my body. So the doctor kicks my mom out of the room, and then the doctor closes the door. I didn't know what to expect. We ended up having a conversation about the bruises, the cuts, and the welts all over my body. I explained each bruise and cut and welt, each one from skating. Like this one right here is from a jump my coach said I wasn't ready for, and I tried it anyway. This welt on my shin was from this cut and welt on my shin was from someone accidentally crashed into me in a warm-up for an ice show. And all these bruises on my legs was from falling on this move and that jump and that spin and so on and so forth. When I said this, I said it with my chest puffed up and proud of my wounds and injuries, because they were trophies of my hard work and dedication and all my blood, sweat, and tears. Skating has taught me other things too. How to be a graceful winner and a loser, and how to manage my time and to keep myself fit. The main thing I learned from skating, from watching the Olympic skaters, and how many times I skated in competitions, testing sessions, or a show, I learned from skating, which I applied to my life to this day. No matter how many times you fall, you get right back up, keep going, and try again. You do that, you will go far in life until you reach your destination.